In this episode, we are going to be exploring how to create your own steak so that it is not only better quality, but you also have control of how it cooks and how much you spend. So let's get started, shall we? So here we have a big old roast. So you're probably thinking, but roast is so expensive. Why get a roast when I can easily spend like $14 on 4 steaks? What I paid for this is gonna literally be less than what you pay for those steaks. I know that sometimes when steaks are on sale, they can be $14. But when they are not on sale, they're more like 20. And with this roast, you are essentially going to be getting at least 8 slices of steak out of this roast, and it only costs me about $30. So that's literally a 25% savings. And all you need to do to kind of prep this is you simply just need to cut off all the fatty deposits. And another important thing I should point out is when you're shopping for your steak, you want to have a bit of marbling in it because that will make it more tender when you go to cook it. And also you want to look for one that is not like a folded piece of meat, because if you want it to be steak, you don't want it to be like a weirdly shaped steak. So something like an eye of round would be perfect for this. What I have here is an Angus roast. I forget what kind it is. Give me a second here and I'll quickly look. So this particular piece of roast is called a cross rib roast. And why it's more affordable is because I essentially got 1 kg of meat here, and how many steaks you would get out of this is roughly about like 8 or 9. So when I went and looked, I'm pretty sure that when you get a package of 4 steaks, it's only like 0.4 or 0.45 kg. So essentially you're like missing out on 0.10 kg when you buy the pre-cut steaks. But when you get this, it is a full kg, and it is so simple and easy to just cut into your own slices. And the best part about this is if I were to get a steak, and I'm just going to show you how big we want to make these roughly. So I am just going to get about 1-inch chunks out of this. And the reason why I want 1-inch chunks is because when you get it in a grocery store, they slice them so thin. And when you go to cook them, you're essentially burning the outside and you're overcooking the inside. The ideal doneness of a steak for me is about a medium. There might be some that might argue that it's like a medium rare, but I prefer a medium steak. And if I were to get those like 1 centimeter slices of meat at the grocery store, like I said, they would just quick to cook and overcook. What did I say? They would cook too quickly and be overdone, so that's why I generally like doing this. And on top of that, like I said, this was maybe like $30 for this roast. And the slices, even though they seem smaller, it's actually the perfect portion size for anyone you're feeding. You don't actually need a lot of meat in your diet. I know high protein isn't in thing right now, and I fully support that if that's what you want to do. But I prefer just getting just the right amount of steak out of my meals. And the reason being is probably also because I have a small stomach. So let's see. So I got 8 total slices out of this. And again, for $30, that's amazing, because if you bought 2 packages to get 8 steaks at a store, not only are you getting 1 centimeter thicknesses compared to this 1 inch, but you are also literally paying more by at least $10. So now that we kind of have our slices, this one I kind of cut a bit small, but that's okay. That could be for like a child maybe, just because you should be cooking their meat a bit more thoroughly. But I am going to show you just a simple way, because obviously this is what you would call steak right now, but I also want to do a different slice that many people don't really think of doing, and that is called a shabu shabu slice, or thinly sliced steak. And you might think, oh, that's really hard to do, but all you really need to do is you just take a couple pieces, or however many you need. I would try and get uniform shape and not awkwardly cut ones, and you're just going to throw these into the freezer for 5 minutes, and I'll show you how to do the slices after this. So just make sure you have them in a single layer like this, and let's go freeze them for 5 to 10 minutes now, just so they firm up a bit. So just while those go, what I'm also going to explain is this has a nice marbling to it, but ideally if you're looking to do like a stew, you want more marbling out of this. But if you were to even keep the roast whole, you could also do like a Sunday roast with this. I'm sure would be pretty good just in the slow cooker. How you kind of do that is you would obviously keep it whole, and you would just simply add in like some broth and some flavorings like seasonings and whatnot. I'll try and find a couple recipes for you. I heard a Mississippi roast roast is absolutely amazing if you like a bit of spice, so I might link that down below. If you do a whole roast, it really doesn't take a lot. You can even just do like gravy in the slow cooker after you cook the roast by cooking the roast in some broth and then removing that, then add in a bit of Worcestershire sauce, some flour. It's even better if you do like your own beef stock, and I will be doing a series on how to make stock later on in my how-to series, so definitely keep an eye out for that. But it's basically take any meat and you can do stock using that, but I'm not going to give too much away as of now. And the way I'm kind of going to do that video is kind of like by doing it in a pot, but anyway, like I was saying, add in broth, some Worcestershire, some flour. You can even do some seasonings, some garlic and onion would be really good in a gravy, and just kind of do that. If you don't want to do it in the slow cooker, you can also just add a bit of water to your slow cooker with the meat. I usually like submerging my meat because I find it gets more tender that way. And then what you can do after is you can kind of take that natural juicy broth from your slow cooker, add it to a pot, kind of make a roux out of it, which is butter, like a fat, a flour, your beef drippings or even vegetable drippings if you're doing a vegetable-based stock or vegetable-based gravy, and you can kind of just go from there. It's very easy to do. Then what you want to do is start adding the broth in just little by little, and you want it to get to as thick as you like, and that's so simple to do. Like maybe I can do a how-to on how to make gravy, and that would be a good idea for you guys in particular, so I will definitely do that in the future if I in fact remember. I think it's getting close to being 5 minutes, so I am just going to go get my meat and see what it's looking like. So my meat wasn't quite ready to come out of the freezer, so what I am going to show you is kind of how to store your meat in the fridge when you put it away, because it's very important that you practice food safety here. So what I kind of like to do is I like to get a fresh Ziploc bag and I kind of squeeze the air out of it and flatten my bag here. And what I am going to do, not with this plate, but with the ceramic or glass plate, I am just going to simply store my meat on top of the plate, and I'm going to put this on the lowest shelf in my fridge. If you want to freeze it, you can freeze it at this point and use it later. I'm still undecided. I might be shooting a video soon to do with this. It's just been so hot in my area and I don't want to heat up my kitchen yet, but I am just going to store this for maybe a day in my fridge, and if I decide not to do the video yet, I'll put it in my freezer so that I don't have a chance of getting sick. So this is where I'm going to store it. You can see my produce down here if you can. You can also store it in the produce thing. But the reason I have it on a plate is just so that the drippings don't get into my produce bin, and that way making it much safer for when I go to use my produce also. So you just want it on generally the lowest shelf as you can see here, just so that the drippings, in case it does leak, don't get on everything else. So while we're waiting for the meat to kind of freeze a little bit, but not completely, it just needs to firm up like I said. Simply to wash your hands, because you will need to wash your hands like in between touching your fridge handle and putting it in the freezer, just so you don't cross-contaminate. You're essentially, for washing your hands, you're going to start by rubbing the soap all over, like so, and you want to do this for 2 happy birthday songs, and then you're going to go like that with your fingers, kind of have them crossed like so that you get into this particular part of your hand, and then you're going to flip one hand over and do the same on the other side, do the same on the other side here, and then you scratch your palm just all over to kind of get the soap all over and in the crevices of your hand, and you do that on the other side. And then you want to get around your nails and kind of like under your nails. You can also use a brush to do this, which is ideal, but you're going to do that on all your fingers, just in case you have anything under your nails or around the crevices of your nails. And then you are simply just going to finish by rubbing all over again. You can repeat it again if you really want to, just like so, and you want to do that until you can tell that you've done it for at least 2 happy birthday songs, and that is the best way to wash your hands. Oh, and you also want to get your wrist too, so just by twisting both hands like so, and you ideally want to do this under like warm water that is almost too hot for you, but it won't burn you at the same time. It's just slightly above warm, and that just guarantees that you're killing bacteria, and the soap helps out with that too. Okay, so now that my meat is nice and firm, I am going to show you how to slice this. So what I am doing is I'm kind of looking on this side of the meat so that I know how thin I am getting these, and you are simply just going to let the knife do all the work. And I'll show you this with one slice because I don't need a lot of slices out of it, but you can see how nice and thin that's gotten. just because I partly froze it. It's actually like, I don't know how I can show this better. Like if you see my knife compared to the slice, it's pretty much even. Maybe if I show you on this side. No, I don't know how to get a good angle. So this is the best I can do for the angle while still staying safe. Let me just focus for you. So you can see how it's kind of the same thickness. I would say this is about a 2mm knife, and that's roughly the size of my slice here. And don't worry, I won't waste this. I'll use it for something else, like maybe making a broth or whatever. That's how simple it is to get nice and thin slices. You just need to throw it in the freezer. I did mine for about 10 minutes and it's absolutely perfect for slicing now. That's like a slice that I don't think we do a lot in Canada or the US. So it's very good to know that if you want to do like a hot pot or something, which I know we do have some people from out east that do hot pot, that might be handy for them to know, but I'm sure they pretty much know that anyway. And that's kind of what this episode is about, is like the 3 cuts you can get out of roast. You can get the roast cut like I covered, you can get the steak cut, and then this again is called the shabu shabu slice. And with the shabu shabu slice, you are simply just going to swish it in boiling water to cook it. And ideally the water has a bunch of seasonings that are nice and flavorful and delicious. I might do that in the winter if I have a chance to or remember to, just so I can give you that sort of experience, because I think it's something that you guys might enjoy and it's a great activity for gatherings. And until next time, I will see you later. If you don't mind liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing this video, I really do want to get it out there so that people have a chance to kind of like learn to cook who might not know how to cook, because this is what that series is all about. So if you know someone who doesn't quite cook, or who wants to learn, or who you might be able to help out in any way to learn to cook, then definitely give them this series. I will have more coming. This is just number 1. I just shot my second one while doing this episode. And until next time, a banana.